Well, I think every student has a story, and I'm just thankful that Vincent shared that story with me. So it was actually uh, after class one Thursday night. He spoke to me about, I think we had covered post-traumatic stress disorder in class, in fact, and he had come to me and explained to me how his story has affected him. Um, Now, if you have been around those who are in the military, most of them don't necessarily like talking about their story. So when Vincent opened up to me, I didn't care that it was past the time. What I cared was that Vincent was actually opening up to me and telling me his experiences. And I mean, again, every person has a story, so I was just happy that he shared that with me.
I grew up with my sister, grew up with both my parents, grew up with three of my cousins as well. Kind of a big family, but not really. My grandmother, grew up in Chelsea, in the city. Pretty tight-knit family. My sister was the first one of basically our family to go to college, and I kind of wanted to follow in her footsteps as well. So I attempted my first time to go into BMCC in 2003, and I kind of felt that I had a higher calling, like not a higher calling, but more of a ambition to pursue leadership in the military. So I thought that maybe I can try that first, and then if college was in my way, then I can go that route. And that's what I did first. I decided to go into the military. I started out in Parris Island, where all Marines start out. Well, not all, but anybody who's an East Coast Marine starts out in Parris Island, South Carolina. From there, I went to my duty station, which is in Quantico, Virginia. My MOS, which is our military occupational specialty, was military police. And then upon my 7 months in, I got promoted into the canine field, which is you have a German Shepherd or a dog breed, and you find either explosives or narcotics. So from then I went to Lackland Air Force Base, which is in San Antonio, Texas. I went there for 3 months for training and went back to Quantico, Virginia. Then I deployed to Iraq. I was injured in August 25th, 2006 by indirect rocket blast. Basically, what occurred was it was an enemy rocket, a rocket propelled grenade. It was launched. Basically we took over an insurgent stronghold, and while we took over this house for the night, and basically it put me through a wall. Thankfully, I'm in all in one piece. I had all my gear on, which basically saved my life. This happened in a place called Husayba in Iraq. It's right outside of Ramadi. I suffered what's called a traumatic brain injury. Traumatic brain injury, it's kind of like, there's a couple different types of it. There's moderate, there's mild, then there's severe. Well, there's mild, moderate, severe. The worst severe, of course, that's when there's actual like blood, and it's like, blood seeping through the brain and all that stuff. Moderate is like you're out for like minutes, and mild is basically you can be out for a couple seconds, and that's pretty much it. And that's what I suffered, a mild, which is, I'm thankful for that, because there's guys that I've seen in the hospital that suffered moderate, and they can't sometimes even function sometimes. It takes them a long time to put things together. And my mild, it was hard for me to remember words, to remember people, to put sentences together. And it took me about a couple years just to remember how to do all the stuff again. I had to do this thing called cognitive rehabilitation, which is basically learning words again and learning how to do things all over again. And it's a constant repetition, and I continue to do that every day. When in class, like right now, I use a tape recorder, and when I get home, I listen to it constantly just to hear it and constantly repeat it through my head so I can remember it. First, I wanted to remember a bunch of things. Like, I wanted to make sure my mind got right. So to do that, the brain's a muscle. So you have to constantly train it. And my first thing was I need to get back into school. So my first thing when I got out was I'm just not going to sit around. I'm not going to just be there. So I wanted to go back to school. So now that I'm here, I'm striving. I'm trying to do my best here.
So this is actually the first semester that I've taught Vincent. He's in my Policing 201 course, and from the very first day, Vincent and I had a connection in terms of his story. He came up to speak to me after class explaining his situation, and we spoke a little bit in terms of how we should go about the semester, and to date he's been a phenomenal student, so I haven't had any concerns with him.
It's been great here. I enjoyed it. All the professors here have been very supportive with everything, as in helping me with if I needed any extra time, or accommodating basically.
Vincent has something within him that just keeps him going forward. I haven't yet been able to put my finger on what it is exactly, but it's a quality that most students that I encountered don't necessarily have. It's a quality that just helps him propel and go forward. So, and I'm not talking about his experience overseas. I'm talking about him as a person. To be honest with you, had I not known about his experience overseas, I would not have known anything is wrong, or I would not have assumed that yes, he's a vet, and yes, he has all of these experiences. So I think Vincent is an excellent student, regardless of his past.
School is a very important thing in my life right now, and I want to get ahead in life. And right now, it's what you need. So you need a master's degree. You know, it's not a bachelor's. It's a master's. You know, soon it's going to be a PhD. So you're going to need a PhD soon. So, because I plan on taking the firefighter exam next week. Actually, it's on Friday next week. But it's a 2-year waiting list. So, I mean, I have 2 years to actually sit down and think about, is this really what I want to do? And right now, it is what I want to do. It's something that I love helping people, and this is something that I really like to do. And right now I'm getting my AA, and I'm graduating in June, and as I go to John Jay, I'm pursuing my bachelor's, but I'm hoping to get into the BA MA program, where I can hopefully go in 3 years get my master's in either forensic psychology or in criminal justice. But we'll see where that takes us, or it takes me.